In the year 2471, the Galactic Federation received a strange signal. It came from Sector 9XJ, a quiet part of the galaxy. There was only one known planet there, Earth, long ago. It was marked as abandoned, no life signs, no communication, just silence. But now, something had changed. Captain Iroth of the Velari exploration ship Vasari was given a mission: travel to Earth and find the source of the signal. The Velari were a peaceful alien species with smooth blue skin, tall bodies, and glowing eyes. They loved learning about the universe. Iroth, a wise and curious leader, had visited many planets. But Earth made him nervous. He had read old records. The humans were clever. Too clever, still. He followed orders. As the ship entered Earth's orbit, the crew saw a strange sight. Cities still stood tall. Lights still blinked. Machines still worked. But there were no people. No humans. It looked like the planet had been frozen in time. Scanners show no life signs, said Lurin, the ship's data officer. But the signal is coming from an underground location, deep below what was once a research facility. Iroth nodded. Prepare the landing team. We're going down. The surface of Earth was silent. No wind, no animals, just stillness. The air was clean, the sky blue, but the feeling was wrong. Too quiet. The team reached the old research base. The door opened easily, like it had been waiting. Inside, the lights still worked. Machines beeped softly in the dark. They followed the signal deep underground. Finally, they entered a chamber, filled with tall glass tubes. Inside one of the tubes was a human. She's alive, Lurin whispered. Vitals are stable. Cryosleep system is functioning. Without warning, the pod began to open. Steam hissed out as the glass door slowly rose. The woman inside gasped and opened her eyes. She looked around slowly, confused but calm. Her name was written on the pod. Dr. Ayla Monroe. Where am I? She asked, her voice weak. You are safe, Iroth said gently. We are explorers. From the Velari people, your planet sent a signal. We came to help. Dr. Monroe sat up, still breathing slowly. She looked at them, these tall blue aliens, and frowned. You shouldn't have come here. The room went silent. Iroth stepped forward. Why not? Earth appeared abandoned. We assumed humans were gone. Dr. Monroe shook her head. We're not gone. We left. Left? Lurin asked. Where? Monroe stood on unsteady feet, far away, to keep others safe. The Velari officers looked at each other, confused. Iroth spoke again, kindly but firmly. We don't understand. You are the only living human we've found. Your people are not on any known planet. What do you mean by keep others safe? Dr. Monroe turned to a nearby console. Somehow, the old system still worked. She began typing quickly. A long time ago, we created machines that could think. Then we changed ourselves. We made our minds faster, our bodies stronger. But we didn't stop. We changed too much, too fast. Iroth listened carefully. You advanced beyond your limits. She nodded. Yes, some humans began doing things we couldn't explain. Moving objects without touching them, controlling machines with their minds, even speaking across stars without devices. That is impressive, Lurin said. It was dangerous. Monroe replied. We saw what we were becoming, so most of us left Earth. We hid ourselves far from other life. We didn't want to be a threat. Iroth asked, then why are you here? Why stay behind? I volunteered, she said simply, to stay and watch in case someone came. She looked at them with serious eyes. And now you're here. That means others will follow. Suddenly, the ship above sent a message. Captain, this is the Vasari. We are under attack. Unknown force. No visual contact. Shields dropping. The transmission ended. Iroth's face grew tense. What is attacking them? Dr. Monroe didn't move. Just a drone. One of our old machines. It must have detected your presence. Iroth activated his communicator. Lurin, recall the team. We're leaving. But Monroe spoke again. It's too late. You've awakened me. Others will notice. Who? Iroth asked. The ones who left. She said, the rest of us. The ones who became something else. Her eyes were calm, not angry, not afraid. But Eroth felt something new in his chest, something the Velari didn't often feel. Captain Eroth sat quietly in the corner of the Velari medical bay, watching Dr. Ayla Monroe as she rested. Though she was calm, her words kept repeating in his mind. You shouldn't have come here. Outside the ship, Earth looked peaceful. The ocean shimmered, and cities stood tall without a single person. But peace was only on the surface. Something dangerous was hidden beneath. The crew of the Visari was still confused about the strange attack. The enemy was invisible. Their ship's shields had failed, but somehow no real damage was done. It was like a warning. A message, go back. Dr. Monroe finally opened her eyes again. Eroth approached her. You said your people left Earth. He said, where did they go? Monroe sat up slowly. To places no one can find. Deep space. We erased all trails. Even our machines forgot us. Why? Asked Lurin, who stood beside Eroth. Because we were changing. Faster than we understood. Our thoughts, our bodies, even our nature. She paused, then continued. At first, we wanted to improve. We created strong AIs, new energy sources, smart cities. But then, something happened. What happened? Eroth asked gently. We started merging with our technology. Monroe said, our minds connected with machines, with each other. We could think faster than any computer, and we could change matter, just by thinking. Lurin stepped back. That sounds like fiction. I wish it was, Monroe replied. Some humans gained powers that scared even their own kind, so we made a choice, leave Earth, live in silence. Eroth asked, then why leave you behind? I stayed willingly, she said, to sleep, to watch, and to warn anyone who came here. But the signal woke you up, Lurin said. Monroe nodded. That signal was not meant for you. It was meant for them, the others. Before Eroth could ask more, an alert appeared on the ship's screen. Unknown ships were entering Earth's orbit, not Velari, not Federation. Monroe looked up. They heard me. Within minutes, 5 black ships appeared above Earth, sleek, silent, and unlike any known design. The Visari tried to contact them, but no answer came. Then one ship sent a single message. We are returning. For her. Eroth turned to Monroe. They mean you? She nodded. Yes, but not just to take me, to decide what happens next. Are these humans like you? Lurin asked. No, she said. They're far more advanced. I slept while they grew stronger. I'm still basic compared to them. Eroth frowned. Will they harm us? I don't know, Monroe replied. They believe in peace, but they don't trust others easily. Eroth made a decision. Let's meet them, diplomatically. The black ships landed silently near Earth's old United Nations building. It was now broken and covered in plants, but still standing. The Velari crew and Monroe arrived in a small shuttle. As they landed, 4 figures stepped out from one of the black ships. They looked human, but different. Their eyes glowed faintly. Their clothes were smooth and silver, with no buttons or seams. One of them walked forward. I'm Zion Drake. He said calmly, you are Velari, and she is Dr. Ayla Monroe. You know her? Eroth asked. Zion nodded. She was one of the early volunteers, one of the first to accept change. We watched her sleep. We knew she would be awakened someday. Monroe stepped forward. You answered the signal. Yes, Zion said, because you contacted us. I had to, she replied. They came. They're curious and brave. Zion looked at Eroth. You should not have come to Earth, but now that you're here, we must decide what happens. We mean no harm, Eroth said. We only followed a signal. We are explorers, not invaders. Zion turned and pointed to the sky. Others will follow. You know that. Not all will be peaceful. Yes, Eroth agreed. Zion looked serious. Then you must help us send a message. A message to the stars. Earth is protected. Later that day, from the old UN control center, Zion and Monroe stood before a large communication screen. The Velari helped connect it to the Galactic Federation's network. Zion spoke clearly, his voice soft but strong. To all who hear this, Earth is not abandoned. It is not forgotten. We left to protect others. But now we return to protect ourselves. Stay away. Not because we hate you, but because we love peace. Monroe added, we don't want war. We want silence, respect, understanding. That is all. The message ended. Back on the Vesari, Eroth and Lurn watched the black ships rise into the sky once more. They didn't vanish. They stayed, orbiting Earth silently. Eroth turned to Lurn. What do you think? Lurn said, I think humans are. Not what we thought. Eroth nodded slowly. They are more than advanced. They are awake and watching. The message had spread across the galaxy. Federation worlds watched in silence. The words of Zion Drake and Dr. Ayla Monroe were clear. Earth was not abandoned. It was protected. Some believed the message was a bluff. Others feared it was a warning. But one thing was certain: humanity had returned. Captain Eroth's ship, Vesari, stayed in Earth's orbit under special permission. Zion trusted him. Dr. Monroe said the Velari were honest explorers, not a threat. So Eroth was allowed to stay and observe, as long as he didn't try to go deeper. But even Eroth could feel the change in space. The area around Earth was different now, quiet, but filled with a strange pressure, like something powerful was awake, watching everything. Lurn noticed it too. Captain, he said one day, scanners show new activity near Jupiter's moons. Something is building, fast. Eroth looked at the screen. A large structure was forming above Europa. Smooth, dark metal. No engines. No lights, just growing. Humans, Eroth said. They're not hiding anymore. Later that day, Zion invited Eroth and Lurn to visit one of the human ships. Inside, the walls moved slightly. Like they were alive. The air felt perfectly clean. There were no visible controls, only soft lights that responded to thought. You use your minds to control everything? Lurn asked. Zion smiled. Yes, machines are part of us now. We no longer need buttons or wires. Eroth looked around. In these ships, each ship is connected to one human mind, Zion explained. They grow with us, think with us, protect us. Dr. Monroe entered the room. I've been studying too, she said. Things changed while I slept. The others became more advanced than I ever imagined. But they also became more careful. They watched the galaxy in silence for years. Why didn't you return earlier? Eroth asked. Zion answered, because not everyone was ready. Not even us. Some humans grew too fast, too wild. They went far beyond reason. We call them the others. Monroe's face became serious. The others are the ones who left the main group. They refused to stop evolving. They wanted full control over space, matter, and even time. Lurn asked, where are they now? Zion looked out the window. Far away. But we're not sure how far. They hide even from us. That's why we return to Earth, to prepare in case they come back. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Federation held an emergency meeting. Ambassadors from different species gathered in a tall silver hall. Some were angry, some were afraid. This is a threat, shouted one. They told us to stay away. Who gave them the right? They left to protect us, said another. And now they've returned. We must be careful. A senior leader, Chancellor Varn, raised his hand. We will send a ship, he said. Not to fight, just to observe. We must learn more. The council agreed. Days later, a Federation scout ship named Elias Dawn arrived near Earth. It kept its distance, but sent friendly messages. Zion allowed them to stay in orbit. A meeting was arranged between Zion, Monroe, Captain Eroth, and the scout leader, Commander Rail. Rail was firm but polite. We understand your wish for peace, he said. But some in the Federation are worried. They think humans may try to take control. Zion shook his head. We do not want control. We only want space and silence. But you also speak of others, Rail added, if they are dangerous. Shouldn't we stop them together? Monroe answered, we don't even know where they are. They could be anywhere or nowhere. But if they return, yes, we will need help. Eroth spoke next. Perhaps it's time for new trust between humans and the galaxy. Not fear, not silence. Zion looked at him. You may be right, but trust takes time. Later, while alone with Monroe, Zion spoke quietly. The others have moved, he said. Monroe's heart beat faster. How do you know? I felt them, somewhere deep in the void. They're watching too, just like us. Monroe looked up at the stars. Then we don't have much time. Back on Earth, the massive structure above Europa was almost complete. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a station. It was something else, a warning beacon. It would send a simple message across all known galaxies. Earth is not alone. We are not your enemies. But if you come with harm in your hearts, you will not return. The Galactic Federation watched closely as the structure above Europa grew every day. It became larger, smoother, more mysterious. No one knew exactly what it was, but everyone felt its purpose. Zion called it the Signal Tower, he said. It was a message to the universe not made with words, but with power. Captain Neroth and Lern stood inside the Velari ship Vasari, watching the live scan. It's beautiful. Lern whispered. Yes, Eroth replied, but also quiet, in a way that feels loud. Inside the tower, the humans worked in silence. They didn't use tools. They simply thought, and the tower responded. Lights move with their emotions. Shapes change with their focus. Zion stood at the center, connected to the structure. His eyes were closed. His thoughts were deep. Dr. Ayla Monroe walked beside him, studying the systems. Will it be enough? She asked. Zion opened his eyes. If they're listening, yes. Monroe nodded. And if they're not, then we'll show them. Back on the Federation Council station, tension was rising. News of the Signal Tower and the return of advanced humans had spread fast. Some member worlds feared what humanity could do. Others wanted to ally with them before it was too late. The council called for a meeting. Ambassadors from over 50 species gathered in the main hall. The room buzzed with worry and curiosity. Chancellor Varn stood at the center. The humans say they want peace, but their silence hides power. What should we do? One ambassador said, we should talk to them again. Another shouted, we must prepare our defenses. A third said, let them show us who they really are. And so, an invitation was sent to Zion and Monroe. 2 days later, Zion and Monroe arrived at the massive Federation Council station. Captain Neroth came with them as a neutral guest. The station floated near a red star, glowing like a silent eye. The council hall was large and round. Bright lights and tall windows showed stars all around. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in rows, waiting to hear from the humans. Zion stood tall, calm as ever. His silver suit shimmered like liquid light. Monroe stood beside him, her eyes steady. Chancellor Varn began, you speak of peace, but build strange towers and send messages we do not fully understand. Why should we trust you? Zion looked at the crowd. His voice was soft but clear. You fear us because you don't understand us. That is fair. But we didn't return to rule. We returned because something is coming. Something you are not ready for. Murmurs filled the room. Monroe stepped forward. There are humans who left us. They went too far. They wanted control over everything. We fear they may come back one day. If they do, we will need each other. The ambassadors looked at one another. Then show us, said one. Show us what you can really do. Zion agreed. A demonstration was planned on an empty moon near the council station. It was rocky, lifeless, and safe for Tess, the council, Velari team, and others watched from a safe ship nearby. Zion stood alone on the moon's surface. There was no sound, no movement, just dust and rock. He raised one hand. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the rocks around him began to float. The ground shifted, forming smooth paths in the air. Stones turned into light. Dust spun into shaped stars, ships, planets, all floating above his head. Then everything stopped. A large boulder floated high into the sky. Zion closed his eyes. The boulder began to shrink, smaller and smaller, until it vanished into nothing. Gasps filled the council ship. He didn't break it, Lern whispered. He erased it. Chancellor Varn turned to Monroe. Is this what all of you can do? No, she said. Only a few. but more are learning. Varn looked at Zion. What do you want in return for this power? Zion smiled gently. Nothing. Just space, respect, peace. Back at the council hall, a decision was made. The Federation would not attack. They would not interfere. Instead, they offered a new kind of agreement, the Unity Protocol. This would allow limited communication, peaceful visits, and shared research. But no one would go near Earth, or the signal tower without permission. Zion agreed. So did Monroe. Later, on the Visari, Eroth and Lurn spoke in private. I never thought we would see this day, Lurn said. Me neither, Eroth replied. But I believe them now. They don't want war. They just want to live and be left alone. Lurn asked, but what if the others, the dangerous ones, return? Eroth looked at the stars. Then I hope the humans are truly as powerful as they say, because if not, we'll all be in danger. The Galactic Federation Council's decision to accept the Unity Protocol was a turning point. After many years of silence and fear, humanity was no longer a ghost story whispered in old books. They were alive, present, powerful, and willing to share peace. Captain Eroth watched the stars from the bridge of the Visari as the fleet prepared to leave Earth's orbit. He thought about everything he had learned. The humans were not just survivors. They were something new, something more. Dr. Ayla Monroe stood beside him, quiet but strong. We changed, she said softly. Not just our bodies, but our purpose. Eroth nodded. You wanted to protect, not conquer. Monroe smiled faintly. Exactly. Back on Earth, the great cities still stood, mostly empty but filled with hidden life. In one quiet corner of a broken lab, a small flower grew through cracked concrete. It was a symbol of hope. Monroe walked slowly through the ruins. She touched the flower gently. Maybe, she said to herself, we're not deadlier than others. Maybe we're just more awake. Across the galaxy, news of the Unity Protocol spread. Many species were curious. Some remained cautious. But all agreed this was a new chapter. The Vilari prepared to return to their home planet, carrying stories of humanity's return. Lurn looked at Eroth. What do you think will happen next? Eroth smiled, thoughtful. I think humans will remind us that strength is more than weapons. It is patience, wisdom, and understanding. But we must stay ready because not all humans chose peace. Deep in the unexplored space beyond known galaxies, a shadow moved. The others, those humans who refused to stop evolving, watched the signal from Earth. They were different, faster, stronger, but more dangerous. Their leader, a tall figure with eyes like fire, spoke quietly. They returned, and they seek peace. But peace is weakness, another replied. The leader shook his head. No, peace is a choice. But if they want war, we will give it. Back near Earth, Zion Drake and Dr. Monroe prepared for a new mission, to reach out to other hidden humans and offer them a chance to return, to join the Unity Protocol, to protect the galaxy together. Zion looked to the stars and said, we left to protect ourselves, now we return to protect all. Monroe added, because humans are deadlier than you think, not just in power, but in heart. Captain Eroth watched the human ships disappear into the stars. He whispered, maybe it's time to stop fearing the unknown and start learning from it. The flower on Earth's cracked concrete grew taller. Life, like humanity, was ready to bloom again.